I made like my second purchase off TikTok shop, right? And of course it had to be something really that I desire to have. Not really desire, but you know, it's just comfortable and cute. And look at this shit, like that ass fat as like what? Do y'all see this? I'm gonna order every color.
This is Lyric Backus.
So this is somebody fine ass mama that don't look like somebody fine ass mama.
"27 years old, self-made, running a 6-figure boutique in Seagoville, Texas, raising her son alone, a black mother, a CEO, a vibe, and she did it all without needing to scream for attention. She let the work speak. She let her style speak. She let her son speak volumes. Pause, but Lyric's silence on one thing, it became the loudest part of her life.
So listen, you guys, I just have something on my mind real quick, and I just need to like get it off of my chest. So I'm on TikTok, okay, minding my business, being nosy like I always do, okay. And I see Yella Beezy. They have, you know, the little video about his baby mama and stuff like that, right? And I was like, darn, I remember hearing something about that. But when as soon as I scroll on it, I heard alert, alert, alert. Now I do have discernments, okay? I am very good at what I do, okay? So, I'm like, okay, let me read the comments and see what they talking about. So they was like, why you got Yella Beezy name up there? He ain't had nothing to do with it. So I'm like, okay, all right. So they was talking about, yeah, because she passed away in the garage. Now, I do not want to say her name because I do not want her to be visiting me, trying to tell me what happened to her when I'm trying to handle my business, okay? So I'm like reading, they was like, yeah, she was in the garage and this, that, that, that. And I was like, in the garage and just fell asleep.
You felt that? Yeah. That confusion? That disbelief? That's how all of us felt the second this story broke. Lyric and her 7-year-old son Deuce were found dead inside the garage of their own home on her birthday, February 9th, 2024. Police said it was a tragic accident, carbon monoxide poisoning, case closed. But the street said, something ain't adding up.
Right? So they was talking about, yeah, because she passed away in the garage. Now, I do not want to say her name because I do not want her to be visiting me, trying to tell me what happened to her when I'm trying to handle my business, okay? So I'm like reading, they was like, yeah, she was in the garage and this, that, that, that. And I was like, in the garage and just fell asleep. Then I was like, okay, one question. Well, I have 5 or 6, 7 questions. What woman you know, what mom you know, okay, pulls up, okay, to her house, hit the garage door, okay, to be open, pulls in, put the car in park, okay, close the garage, okay, and decides, oh.
And you're not alone, sis, cause the timeline was too tight and the explanation too neat. Let me tell y'all what we know. 7:30 a.m. Lyric drops Deuce at school. Neighbors see her smiling, protective hand on his shoulder. 3:15 p.m. Security footage shows them at the gas station. Lyric pumps gas. Deuce grabs his favorite chips, laughing, smiling, alive. 4 p.m. They arrive home. 8 p.m. Silence.
Begin tonight in Dallas County, where detectives are investigating the death of a mother and her little boy.
Seagoville police were called to a welfare check last week when relatives couldn't get in contact with them, and officers found the mother and son both unresponsive inside their home.
Janelle Ford just spoke with some of their neighbors and joins us live in Seagoville with what she's learned.
Well, Chris and Izzy, overall, this is just a very sad situation. The neighbors tell me that the mother and son were found dead in the garage of this home. You can see where someone's come and placed flowers out front. And tonight, investigators are working to learn exactly what happened. First, you hear the screams. Then moments later, you see the first responders. They're heading 2 doors down to this home where 27-year-old Lyric Backus and her 7-year-old son Deuce were found dead in the garage.
Now, the son is old enough to speak, okay? And I'm sure he would have been saying, Mom, come on, let's go. Let's go in the house. Wake up. Okay? Even if he was asleep in the car, you know the first thing you want to do is get them kids in the house. You want to get them in the house. You want to bathe them, get them whatever, how y'all do. Okay? So I just have a question. What y'all think about it?
At 11:47 p.m., a welfare check is made. Lyric's friends had been calling all night. No answer, no read receipts, nothing. When police arrived, they found both of them, Lyric, Deuce, in the garage, unresponsive, pronounced dead.
Cause I just feel like y'all sweeping up under the rug too easy for me. Okay, it sounds easy, don't it? It sounds like the perfect, but it don't make sense.
And she wasn't the only one thinking that. Neighbors started talking, streets started whispering. Lyric never said who her son's father was. 7 years, not one post, not one tag, not one birthday picture with a man, not one Father's Day shout out. Beat, this was calculated protection. This was silence with purpose. But sometimes the same silence that keeps you safe is the one that gets you killed. They say the truth has a way of coming out, but in Lyric's case, it was buried right next to her. Her official cause of death, still listed as carbon monoxide poisoning. Police said no foul play suspected, no need for deeper questions. But girl, we got questions. Let's talk about what they're not saying. In a neighborhood full of doorbell cameras, nobody released footage of her final hours. Not the garage, not the driveway, not the streets she drove through. No one's seen her phone records. And remember, she ran her business on her phone. She lived on her phone. And the day she died, that phone went dead. Silent.
To me, just help me out. So you as a parent, your kids in the car, you don't mind. You open, you do all these steps. Do. These are steps that has to be done. Okay? Please don't tell me she back then. Okay? I'm just saying. All these steps that has to be done. Open the garage. Put the car in park. Close the garage. And you decide to snuggle in the front seat and be like, because I want to get in my bed. I don't know.
And here's where things shift from strange to scary. Because Lyric, she wasn't just a mother, wasn't just a boutique owner. She was silently connected to somebody with power. Visual social media clips, muted screenshots, whispers in salons and barbershops. Narrator, for years people asked, who's Deuce's daddy? Every time Lyric changed the subject, deleted the comment, moved on. But if you from Dallas, you already heard the whispers. We're talking about a rapper, big name, chart topping, major collabs, millions of followers, the kind of man with a brand to protect, a team, lawyers, publicists, damage control, and Lyric, she kept his secret.
So, I'm like, okay, let me read the comments and see what they talking about. So they was like, why you got Yellow Beezy name up there? He ain't had nothing to do with it.
But behind closed doors, people was already talking. Somebody with that much to lose. And a woman like Lyric ready to speak. Pause, that's a dangerous equation. Seen Lyric's final moves. Narrator, according to close friends, Lyric had been fed up. 7 years of hiding. 7 years of protecting a man who wouldn't protect her. They say she'd been drafting messages, ready to expose everything. She was done being invisible, done protecting somebody else's image, done acting like she ain't matter. And her birthday? That was the day she planned to send it all. But those messages never made it out. And that phone, gone, locked down, or wiped clean. Like, girl, if she was gonna expose him, if she really was done, that makes her dangerous, and dangerous women, they got a way of ending up dead. Let me ask you something. If this was your secret, if your son's mother and child were found dead, would you really say nothing? No Instagram post, No RIP lyric, no funeral attendance, no condolence to the family, not even a staged statement, not one word. Packed church, candles, photos of Lyric and Deuce. Narrator: the funeral was full. Friends, customers, neighbors, black women entrepreneurs who saw themselves in Lyric. One rumor said the entire service was paid for by a silent benefactor, but that person never showed up. So who do you think paid for it? And why would you pay for a funeral you didn't even show up to? Narrator: pacing slows to a near whisper. And that baby is when the silence started screaming. You ever notice how quick they try to close a case when the victim is a black woman? When it's one of us, the story gets wrapped up like a fast food order. Hota, rushed and gone. Lyric: Backus deserved more than that. Deuce deserved to grow up. The medical examiner never released the details. No footage, no mention of interviews, no breakdown of whether the garage door opener was tampered with. Not even how long the car had been running. And in a world full of surveillance, nothing from the neighborhood cameras was shown to the public. I mean, the timeline was vague. Too vague. The silence, too loud. The case, closed too fast. And when the community started asking questions, it was like we were shouting into a void. No press conferences, no follow-up statements, no justice, because when powerful men get nervous, they don't defend themselves. They erase the woman who knows too much. This ain't new, we've seen it before. Women who carry secrets that could destroy reputations get discarded like liabilities. They call it heartbreak. They call it mental illness. They call it accidents. But sometimes, it's execution without a weapon. When you live in the shadow of somebody else's name, it's easy for that somebody to make you disappear entirely. 7 years of loyalty. 7 years of silence, 7 years of protecting a man who wouldn't even claim her or her child. And in the end, that silence became her death sentence. Lyric's boutique sign, her last Instagram story caption, birthday girl mode activated. Her last birthday should have been a celebration. Instead, it became a cover-up. What mom you know, okay, just goes to sleep in the car on her birthday, with her son in the back seat, like it's just another day. And that's the part that haunts me. Lyric wasn't perfect, but she was here. She was building, she was mothering, and she was silenced. And Deuce, that baby boy, he had his whole life ahead of him. So let's ask it plain. Where are Lyric's phone records from February 9th? What happened to those texts she was drafting? Who benefits from this case being forgotten? And why was the father of her child never made to speak? 'Cause when you say nothing, you can't be quoted. When you don't acknowledge someone, you can't be connected. That silence, it's calculated. Visual Instagram tributes, justice hashtags, memorial videos. Narrator: the influencer community, especially black women, they didn't stay silent. Hash justice for Lyric trended. So did hash remember Deuce. Because they knew this was bigger than just carbon monoxide. This was about how we're protected or not. This story ain't just about Lyric, it's about every woman who's ever been told to keep quiet for his reputation. Every mother raising a child alone while the father lives his best life in public. Every sister who thought silence would buy love. And when she finally decided she was tired of being hidden, that's when she became dangerous. Lyric, Backus, and her son, Deuce, deserved acknowledgement. They deserved protection. They deserved the truth. And until we get it, this story won't be over. Because when powerful people try to bury the problem, it's on us to make sure it stays visible. Girl, this ain't over. Final slate. Y'all drop your theories in the comments. Subscribe because their voices may be gone, but their story will not be silenced.